Ms. Vinita Hariharan is the national level public policy expert. Ms. Vinita Hariharan, you have heard what Dr. M. Narendra as well as what Dr. Santosh Kumar Patnaik has mentioned in their talk. And they are very, very clear. They says that the RBI is trying their best, government is trying their best to control the inflation and to bring down to 4%. But because of the many factors which are out of control, even of the government, like COVID and the crude price, international crude price, the inflation is not coming to that level and it is above 4% always. And that's why the price rise is there. Now, what they are very clear that if some policies will be made, like Dr. Narendra wants the policies, especially for MSME, and he rather indicated that because you are representing MSME, and you know the conditions, how the policies are. According to him, some equity link or some policies which will give boost to MSME because they are 50% of the GDP and the export oriented units, as well as what Dr. Patnaik says, that we should have a short-term and long-term policy, physical policy, in as well as we must have some import policies which will not impact drastically to our agriculture sector. So all these things, we know that for talking, it's a very nice thing for everyone, for us and everyone. But to take a decision and keeping so many factors in mind is not that easy, whether it's government or the RBI. We all, but the program is to way forward. We want that so that those suggestions which are coming from the experts like Dr. Narendra, Dr. Patnaik, definitely values because of their expertise, their experiences of so many years in public life as well as on those very prominent posts. We would like to know your views on price rise, the way forward. Miss Vinita Hariharan, please.
Namaskar, Lal Goelji. It's really a pleasure to be on your show again and to share the panel with esteemed experts like Narendra ji and Dr. Santosh. And Dr. Santosh is also an alumni from my school, and it's a great pride to share the panel with you. Thank you so much. So as has already been explained by the panelists earlier, Narendra ji and Dr. Santosh has explained in very clear terms what is the concept of inflation and how does inflation arise and what is the current framework under which inflation is actually going slightly out of control. But I think we are getting the reins and we are trying to pull it under the framework soon. So as has been explained already, I think the global supply chains have been disrupted over the last 2 years, and entire the world and life itself was disrupted the last 2 years. We were all under lockdowns for so many months and such long periods. Therefore, supply chains have been heavily disrupted, and which is what gave rise to the entire supply constraint globally. So therefore, our export imports got impacted, like how it was explained earlier. And because exports and imports got impacted, it had an impact on the prices. And that, of course, was also the reason for the fuel price increase also. Apart from the fact that there is a cartel oil producing country cartel, which actually controls the price in such a way that it doesn't go below a certain level, even if the situation demands, they try to control it at a certain level. Therefore, we are always subject to that kind of regime, the global regime, as far as the fuel original crude oil price is concerned. So, and since we are heavily dependent on oil from outside, that is the base point always. Today it's almost $84 a barrel, so which is actually contributing to a large percentage of the high petrol price that is there today, apart from, of course, taxes at the central and the state level, which is almost 50% of the cost of petrol is taxes, and the remaining 50% coming from the base crude oil price and other prices, commissions to to dealers, etc. So as far as global crude oil prices are concerned, we cannot control it much. But as far as our tax regimes are concerned, we are trying to do our best in terms of, as there's been taken recently, the step of reducing the excise duty by the center is a great gesture. To actually trigger states to reduce their VATs also. So with states, almost I think 22 states have taken steps to reduce their VAT. Because, if you reduce VAT, there's a great impact on the final product because it's a percentage on the cost after excise duty is calculated. Therefore, VAT plays a very crucial role, even though it's contributing maybe say 25% of the total cost, but since it's a percentage on the original cost, it has a great impact. Therefore, that's one way forward in which all states fall in line and reduce their VAT commensurate with the reduction in excise duty. And of course, the final solution in terms of the fuel price hike is to come under the GST regime, which is a contentious issue. States are not agreeing. Therefore, Centre has taken the olive branch and reduced the excise duties as a first step. But I think eventually we should all get into the GST framework. And so there would be uniform petrol price across the country. And also there are calculations to prove that if it comes under GST, there is almost a 45% reduction in prices in petrol. So that so much so for the petrol price hike, and because we have to stock a fuel price because that's what is contributing to the inflation to a large extent. Because high fuel prices means high cost of transport, and therefore the high cost of the vegetables and food produce that is being transported to the markets. So that's how we can control the fuel prices going forward. And of course, also focusing on our domestic production. Now, that is something which this government has been very aggressive about, right from its, the day it took over on being Atmanirbhar. And promoting the concepts like vocal for local, and improving the produce at the local level, localized levels. And even globally, there is this concept of local economic development, which is about promoting economic development in and around a particular local body. As a smaller administrative unit as a local body should be able to trigger economic development around their, within their particular domain area. Maybe say, 10, 15 kilometers around a particular urban or rural local body, there needs to be a thriving economy. So which is what some missions like I worked on earlier, like the Chama Prasad Mukherjee Urban Mission was focusing on encouraging economic activities within a core urban cluster. It was called a rural cluster, wherein we were trying to promote economic growth centers in rural areas. In a population of about 25 to 50,000, we were trying to give subsidies for incentivizing local economic development, say it's agri-producing or milk production or whatever the local economy facilitates. We were trying to give subsidies for that. So that's a very important concept which this government is also very aggressive about. We are improving localized production and improving the local economy so that our dependence on global supply chain is reduced to that extent. And as I mentioned about oil also, domestic exploration of oil is also something which is totally untapped in our country. So we need to really improve the strength of the oil producing companies like ONGC and other, and also, invite now with the, the disinvestment going strong, we would hope that we would have foreign expertise also coming in to improve our exploration capacities for fuel. So I would say that I would not dwell into the other aspects which has been so well explained by the earlier panelists and the macroeconomic reasons for the inflation, which they are much better equipped to explain that. But as far as my experience is concerned with the government programs and how we could actually go forward, I think local economic development, improve local strength in production of crude oil, as well as in production of other, agricultural produce, which the government's policies are going in the right direction. As Dr. Patnaik also mentioned about edible oils and pulses, which is, we are heavily dependent on imports of these two products, which is actually also contributing to a large extent to the inflation. And another aspect about food inflation is this, we have gone towards, dependence on high value food items like beyond cereals and all that. We are also looking at high value products like organic food and protein rich products, and for which our capacity, domestic production capacity, needs to be enhanced. So that is again another aspect in the food processing sector which we need to focus on. So apart from that, of course, the coal crunch is also an important, in the coal shortage that was there. It's also contributing to a certain extent to the inflation, which is again because of the lockdowns and the shutdown due to COVID and the lack of workers in the mines, which is what actually contributed to the temporary shortage of coal. But still, I think the way forward, like the government is emphasizing on use of renewable energy. Now, that is something which is extremely good, because in the way our government is so aggressive about renewable energy and tapping energy from the sun and the wind, I think that is extremely the right way to go forward. And Because that is something which is a perennial source of energy. And if we improve our capacities for production of this renewable energy, I think that will go a long way in making our country self-reliant as far as energy sources is concerned. So I think that's again the right way to go. But again, I think we need to expedite our capacities for facilitating the use of electric cars and facilitating use of hybrid powered cars by, of course, as you all know very well, improving the stations of refuel recharging stations, and helping, and also reducing the prices of these cars and automobiles for the common man, because still it's out of purview for a common man. A small car costs around 20 lakhs today, electric powered cars. So I think that's not affordable for many middle class people. So I think that's something, because that will come with economies of scale. So for which we need to improve our production capacities. So I think this is what I would like to say in short. And of course, inflation targeting regime is a very tightrope walk, like Dr. Santosh just mentioned. We look into various aspects, the exports, the imports, the local production, then the benefit for the farmers. And as far as the farmers is concerned about agricultural output, I think we've done pretty well during the COVID in terms of improving our agricultural output. And the 3 farm laws, which many states have actually implemented, although there are symbolic riots or protests, but still many states have quietly amended their laws and they've started using the ENAM portal. And I think that's a very good way of improving the capacity for the farmers to link with the markets, so that they don't really need to depend so much on exports. They can cater to the domestic producers and domestic consumers through the digital portals. But again, the last mile, that's another important aspect which the government has to really focus on, is to improve the last mile implementation of the schemes. So because that's another reason for inflation, is there's a lot of money in the market and in the with the government also, in terms of the schemes and the big budget schemes. We announced the Atmanirbhar package, 3 lakh crore, and then recently also the budget of India itself is around it's a huge 27 lakh crore. So I think all of this, now the spending has to happen, and there has to be last mile implementation, last mile infrastructure, provision, so that this money is spent. Only then would the inflation also, that will also have a huge impact on bringing the inflation within the targeted regime of 2 to 6%. So I think that's a very important area which the government really needs to further strengthen. I would feel, being very self-critical, that we need to really improve our last mile implementation of programs. So that's it. Yeah, that's it from me, Goelji.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Vinita Hariharan, for giving your views.